So let's get right into it, right? Solar eclipse in Scorpio, the first thing I think about is ice. I think about like the iceberg, the idea of things being in this iceberg stasis, right? So because Scorpio is fixed water, that ice analogy is pretty close to home, right? Now, most people don't realize that the ice that Scorpio brings is meant to only be melted by those who choose to understand the complexities of whoever it's going to be interacting with, right? So one of the major themes for people who have Scorpio energy is going to be this certain sense of transformation, right? Rain goes through different stages of precipitation. If it's in the right climate, it's going to end up freezing, right? So this type of like coldness, this hypnoticness, this primal energy that Scorpio energy has is about to be on 10 in about a week. I wanted to do this early to kind of give people just a real guideline as to how this is actually going to be impacting everyone and impacting the collective. I'll be pulling cards later at the end of this. Please be sure to check out the website. I do have a bunch of readings that are going to be available. They are all on sale for eclipse season. I want to be able to have people get as clear as possible. As you can saw, the first lane I was going to do Zoom, that didn't end up working out. I went to go do YouTube, that didn't end up working out. Now I'm here on IG, and I think that's the type of thing where it's like there's a will, there's a way, especially during this eclipse season. It's going to challenge you. It is going to make you think you can't accomplish certain things. It's going to make you think that maybe you're not good enough in certain capacities, but that is untrue, right? Even when I start up right now, everything starts, all the connections want to act up because I'm about to spit the truth. It is what it is. It's cool. But let's get into the rest of this, right? This is happening at 2 degrees. I haven't talked very much about the Venus in Scorpio. It's going to be on a solar eclipse yet, but I will be posting a video about that tomorrow and the next day. But Scorpio Venus, and Venus is a matter of fact. Let's talk about Venus straight up. Venus is with the sun right now, right? Venus is known as the morning star, which is the second brightest light in the sky, except for the sun. Word. So the sun and Venus are both conjunct, right? So that's the light bearer, that's the sun, that's all of this light energy is shining right now on the collective. And the reason why it's shining in a specific way is because it's in Libra right now, right? Libra season ends in about 4 days, right? And as we shift into Scorpio season, the sun and Venus shift into Scorpio at the same time, right? We have Saturn going direct right before this solar eclipse happens. Right after the eclipse happens, we have Mercury going into Scorpio. So everything the eclipse is going to be telling you about, by the time it's Mercury and Scorpio, you're going to be speaking on it. You're going to be like forcing people in a certain sense to hear your truth, right? And it's not going to be in every regard, but there is a certain sense of warrior prowess and warrior energy that has to come through in these specific circumstances. Scorpio is the feminine side of Mars, or the yin side of Mars, or the more receptive side of Mars. But Mars is desire, Mars is sex, and Mars is passion, right? And how you're going to be going about that. So, now that we talked a little bit about Scorpio, talked a little bit about this Mars scenario that's about to go retrograde right after a Martian type solar eclipse, right? Someone said party in the underworld. That's literally what Scorpio energy is. It is the like underworld or the other world. I think a lot of people start to think that it's inherently dark, and I don't think dark is correct, but I don't think that it means it's inherently bad, right? There's things that can shine super bright and be the worst, most evil things for you, right? Super shining bright, wow, this is this. And then you get to it and it's like, whoa. Meanwhile, there could be other people who kind of live their lives like just to themselves a little bit, whatever else. And you talk to them and they're the sweetest souls. So I don't like using the dichotomy of like light and dark or light and shadow for those specific purposes just because it gets fuzzled. But Scorpio is the purity of all of that. all at the same time, right? It's the accepting of the chaos of what's good, it's the accepting of the chaos of what's bad, and it's the accepting of the chaos of what's kind of just straight up ugly. Like, it happens sometimes, right? But the concept that I'm trying to get at more so here, for the solar eclipse, every person is going to have some type of Scorpio cycle, even if you have Scorpio energy or not, right? There's going to be a certain sense of this scorpionic, this new change, this new direction, this new urge, this new and that's the best way I can explain certain water sign energy. It's just like and the reason why is because as we're getting into this shift, we're going from air sign energy, right? Everything, I say air sign energy and the live goes out for a second, but everything's super active, right? Everything is super social in a lot of senses. Once Venus slips into Scorpio with this solar eclipse, the real is going to come out of people, and the people that are closer to their selves, that are closer to the source of themselves, that are working on the source of themselves, are going to have a lot better time. People that do shadow work, people that end up tapping into that dark, right? That's all of that, right? The absence of light, for all darkness exists in lights, and all light in darkness, the law of correspondence, 100%, which is, that is literally the same law. I just don't like with the way that modern terms have kind of just been like, oh, it's the light, oh, it's the shadow, oh. Like, it's everything. It's like, everything is everything, right? Air sign energy, you ring. Yeah, I did ring. But the idea of this air sign energy, right? The air sign energy, is the IG is glitchy this evening. I'm telling you. Zoom, ain't gonna work. YouTube, ain't gonna work. IG, now it's glitching. Come on, son. Got something to say, you feel me? But the idea of this air sign energy is trying to make sure that you're willing and available to talk about difficult topics by the time the solar eclipse hits Scorpio. Because it's like, everything's talkative. Wow, you're going to meet all these people. You're going to get, like, even if you don't meet all these people, you're connecting with the people closer that you want to be connected with, whether you know it or not. And then the Scorpio season comes around and you're like, oh man, now they have to know stuff about me. I don't know about all that. Before it was cool. We were just cool. We were just talking. We were friends. We were kicking it. And now they want to know about what triggers me? Whoa. Well, I don't know. Now they want to know about my favorite color. Suspicious. I don't know why they want to know my favorite color. This is the type of energy that, like, the Scorpio energy kind of holds with the solar eclipse. Once more, people are going to be kind of in this Mars, like, honestly, paranoia to a certain extent. And I think when deep parts of and facets of ourselves start to come to the surface, it's very difficult to navigate unless you do have a Scorpio placement, or you do have like a Capricorn placement, or something along the lines of being able to like hold it, right? The communication must come in clear. I mean, that's pretty much the goal. But you know, if I record it, it's fine. If we go on live, they're like, we don't know about that, man. But c'est la vie. It is what it is. But moving forward, right? Outside of Venus, outside of that, someone said, what do you think about starting couples therapy for the first time at this time? Good or bad? Excellent. Great. It'd be a great time to do something like that, right? Eclipse season, you don't necessarily have the reins. Word. When that stuff wasn't working, I was like, you know what? We're gonna do something else. I didn't even get that mad. I was like, you know what? We're going to maneuver. We are going to pivot, right? So when it comes to your situation, it's going to be more of a time frame to be like, okay, what things do we need to pivot on in order for us to agree? What things do we need to pivot with that? And if you do go in front of somebody else who is designated to dig in like that, to investigate those things, such as someone who ends up doing that therapy, it's an excellent thing, because then it's not just y'all between one another. Now it's somebody else who's trying to dig down to the root of the problem. And as long as both people are to see what the problem might be, that's going to be changing everything when it comes to the future that you're making with that, right? So just something to point out in that process and everything like that. So IG is playing me right now. So here's what we're about to do. Let's get straight into a couple cards just to get ourselves going. Because I feel like they playing this, so I might as well get to the point. Drop mad cards right now. But let's start picking them up. Let's start seeing what they ended up saying. Alright. So, first thing we got is the Princess of Swords. Everything I just dropped is being pulled right now, just to let you all know. So this is going to be the collective reading right now for the solar eclipse, and I find it ironic that everything just hits the ground beforehand. So let's just get into it. Princess of Swords. There's a certain sense of having an idea but not being able to carrying it out yourself. I think people are feeling a lot of this Nine of Swords energy. There's a lot of stress. A lot of people are feeling like there's a lot of thoughts in their head, a lot of thoughts on their mind that they may not be used to. Word. So what we have under here is actually the Ace of Swords. No doubt, of course, this is the Ace of Swords, right? So when it comes to the Ace of Swords, it is a culmination in the first step towards real revelation. Ace of Swords is able to cut through anything, any BS, any hoopla, and get straight to the point, get straight to what's actually going on, right? Underneath that, we had the Two of Swords. So it's like after this, you're able to cut through what you need to know. Now you're like basically going back and forth of what do I want to put my mind towards, right? Do I want to put it towards the thing I originally sought out, or is there something new and exciting that's coming in where I'll be able to put that energy towards, right? Eight of Wands. Everything is coming super fast, dumb fast. I think the changes that the eclipse season are bringing are going to be almost instantaneous, to the point where it's like, oh, well, here we are. I'm working over here, doing my little coffee thing, doing this over here. Oh my gosh, I'm an astrologer now. Oh, full time, everything. Like, you know what I mean? It's the type of thing that can go like that. That's what we aiming for. We manifest them, baby. We manifest them. Anyway, but the idea of it is basically like the Ten of Wands is that although you're able to bring in this new chance, it's going to feel like a burden at first. It's going to be like, oh, what do you mean I have to work for this? Oh, that sucks. But then afterward, it's like, well, if you're able to actually put in the time, this is the Justice card reverse. You don't see how much equilibrium you're going to bring to your life from going towards that one idea that you've had. And if I'm saying this idea, you know what idea it is. You know what I mean? Like, I know what idea I'm talking about when I'm mentioning this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a universal thing for everyone and how they interpret it, right? Okie doke. So, we have now picked up our cards on the floor. And let's get into the rest of these from the top. So, we have the Wheel of Fortune. I think this is more so closer to what Venus's influence is about to be on a solar eclipse. But we have the Wheel of Fortune, right? So there's going to be good luck coming to those who are willing to. The irony of saying those who are willing to wait and the connection suddenly not working. Suspicious. Don't you think? Regardless, the idea of the Wheel of Fortune mixing up with the Five of Cups reverse. This is already milk spilled. I think the rest of these cards coming after this Wheel of Fortune, like you've already the milk spilled. Oh no, this shit didn't work out. Oh, leave it. Who cares? Leave it alone. Who gives a fuck? Nobody. Leave it alone. Just drop it. And my favorite, most annoying part about the Five of Cups, besides the fact that he's just standing there like, is that there's two other cups behind this guy. This is like a mega investor being like, oh man, I invested in these 5 businesses. 2 of them are multi-billion-dollar companies. We can't break even on $3 million for the others. Like, shut up. Do something different. Shut up. Why you like this? Regardless, the idea of it, right, is that moving forward, you don't see this Chariot card coming through. I think the eclipses are so hard and so difficult for people. is because we can't necessarily predict them. Even me as an astrologer, I'm able to give you the layout. I'm able to give you the rundown. I can tell you where it's happening in your chart. I can tell you where it's happening in your signs. Please sign up for a reading or a service because I have all those available on my website right now. If you click on that. Sorry for the people who went to the live stream at first on the YouTube one and it did not end up working. Pretty annoyed about that, but I'm pretty sure my computer was just like, we're not doing this today. We will have alternatives in the future. Regardless, please pull through to the website so we can afford to always live stream all the time. Woo! It's only funny because then it stopped working. Okay, back to the thing, right? Chariot. The Chariot card is going to basically be you pushing your new world forward. Solar eclipses, and this solar eclipse specifically is so important is because it's breaking everything down so you can world build behind it. I'm not talking about, oh, this is a nice little idea I have, or like, oh, I can finally live in the place that I wanted to go. Nah. This is you like recreating the literal essence of what's going on around you based off of how you're feeling, your intuition, and how much you're willing to trust in your personal magic. Because no one's going to tell you how to do it. There's no guide. Look on TikTok, they ain't going to tell you shit. Look on anything else, they're not going to tell you nothing. This is all life experience. This is all like you got to ask somebody. This is all you got to like live this through. If you start trying to ask people for stuff, it's not going to give you the same information that you were originally going to be aiming for. And that's going to be very disheartening. So to save people from heartbreak, you're building your own world post this solar eclipse in Scorpio. So don't even trip. That's just the way that it's going to end up working. And with the Eight of Cups after this, there's a lot of wish fulfillment that people weren't expecting. Now, solar eclipses, to be fair, solar eclipses traditionally are malefic, right? Malefic, normally bad, not good. Things are supposed to suck. Oh my gosh, why are we all dealing with this? So much pain, everything's trash. Right? But I think in a more true essence, right? I think when people are able to take themselves out of it, essentially take the ego portion out of it, they're able to kind of find a sense of relaxation and peace in knowing that they don't know. Like, when you find peace knowing what you don't know, I'm still working on it. I think a lot of people are, especially people that are on spiritual path. This is the hilarious meme where it goes from like the spirituality starter pack, and it's just crystals, there's a couple card decks, it's a little bit of Palo Santo here and there. And then the other part is like advanced spirituality, and this dude with a cigarette with like a 40 in his hand, smoking whatever he's smoking. Like, that is wild. But I think if the world is like, hey, you wanna be living this spiritual life in this screwed up matrix, you have fun. But at the same time, the reason why it's so funny is because it's like and I will just say know that if people put their minds to something, they can make that. Why do you think we have so many content creators? Why do you think we have so many people that are on like TikTok all day? We have so many people that are on Instagram all day. We have so many people that are like literally trying to push forward their own brand and gain this stability and solidify themselves before things turn completely that way. I could definitely see us not being in offices as people in like 10 years. Think about how much of the scope of things changed within the last 2 years. Trend cycles now are like 3 days. They used to be like months. Before that, it was like years. Now it's like, everyone got bored one day and then someone cool did this one thing and now we're all going to do it. It's like, what? What? But this solar eclipse in Scorpio is going to be showing people the deeper part of like, what do they actually resonate with, right? And through that resonance is going to bring gems of the mind, a lot of power of the mind. I hope that my pauses in between when this ends up stopping are accurate, because if so, good for me. But hey, that's how we're going to do it. So before Instagram chews and spits out this live stream because that's just what it does, I guess. Let's get into the readings for the signs, right? So I accidentally dropped half the deck. Not really half the deck, but enough of it for me to be like, okay, let's do that part. We letting spirit guide it. Right? So let's get to one more card for the collective to kind of wrap up the collective portion, and then we'll get into the specifics. What have I been saying to y'all since I started this? Tapping into the innermost mechanisms of your intuition. Now, the idea of the High Priestess, too. The High Priestess is the divine feminine magic card, period. Her ability to tap into the unknown and the unseen and the literal beyond the veil aspects of life makes her an incredible asset, if not just an incredible energy to look up towards, because they're able to never exert themselves past exhaustion. The High Priestess is very much like, bring this thing to me and it will just float itself over, right? Versus some other things where they're trying to push it out, they're trying to make it happen themselves. Sometimes that gets too stressful, sometimes it don't work. The High Priestess ain't worried about none of that. She's just there making magic happen, right? So I think this is the part where I just go ahead and start going through the signs, and we'll just end up wrapping up there. Once more, please be sure to go to the website. I definitely have a bunch of readings. I have tarot readings available as well. I ended up taking off the mini readings for a while because I wanted to do more like actual in-person and real, like full-on readings for people, because I think that's where we get the most value, and I get people looking back at that months later and being like, yo, that was crazy. And I don't think we're able to do that justice in like 5-10 minutes. So I wanted to be able to make the offer, make the prices cheap enough so they're affordable for like a really quality full reading as well. So definitely be sure to check those out. In the process, I'm gonna be focusing on figuring out more live streams, how to stream them, making sure that there's no problem, and give you the highest quality astro takes of all time. Aries, we have the Five of Wands. So for Aries, we have the Five of Wands, right? And what the Five of Wands says is that there's going to be a sense of conflict, if not upheaval. And I think this conflict and upheaval has everything to do with the fact that people have been trying Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Mind you, all these readings are for Sun, Moon, and Rising, right? So for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, people have been trying you consistently for a grip. And I think there's a certain boiling point that most Aries energies get to, and you haven't even reached it. You've been really calm. I think during this solar eclipse, the bickering and then all of the stuff that people are going to start to bring up don't have anything to do with you. It has to do with the inadequacies of them. And because they will not admit this to you, and because people are very projective when it comes to stuff like that, they're going to be like, well, you're making up the problem. And you could be there sitting, eating ice cream in the corner with music in your ears. And they'll be like, it's your fault. And you're like, how? I think what the idea of this is that Aries, although people might come trying you, it's not a time to overreact. It's not a time to push it out too much. Let the solar eclipse fizzle out, because whatever people are coming with you at has nothing to actually do with you or anything that you've done. So just something to keep in mind for this upcoming solar eclipse. That's for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Taurus. You had 2 cards fall out for you, so we're going to use them both. So we have the Four of Swords. You need to recuperate. I think Taurus is normally a sign that's meant for rest, right? Meant for that relaxation, that recoup, that beautify, all that good stuff. But I think because of the eclipse season energies, Taurus, y'all freaking out. Sit down. Sit down. Taurus are being as neurotic as Virgos. And I think the idea behind that is that it's very difficult for them to maneuver, because they're the ones that are supposed to keep the chill when no one else has it. So when Taurus is freaking out, we're like, oh my God, what do we do now? It's not a good sight. It's not a good sight. But what it is trying to tell you, Taurus, is take that anxious energy and put it towards something important. I think Taurus has been missing the idea of a passion project because everything's been so work heavy recently. They're like, oh wait, I could just draw. It's like, yeah, go draw. Whoa, I can go draw, right? By the time the lunar eclipse pulls up, it's gonna definitely be making all these different shifts for you on an external scale. So I think it's gonna take a while, Taurus, for you to see like the benefits of your results physically, even though you're used to seeing them fast. It's gonna take a second, but once it's there, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be fire. All right, but so we go moving on. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising. Let's get it. Let's get it while I'm hot. Anyway, Judgment card. Bum, bum, bum. Now, we have the Judgment card, right? And for the Judgment card, this is trying to signify that Gemini, you and Scorpio have a very interesting relationship. And I think this relationship is going to start to boil over, in a sense, to where it's like, what? You're going to realize how much the same you actually are to Scorpio. And it's going to bother you. I think Geminis are so like, oh, we're Mercurial. Yeah, we don't care. We're just talking about this. It's like, oh, no. I know. But y'all have the same type of complexity and the same type of, I don't know what's going on, as Scorpio does emotionally. It's just in your head. So I think for the first time, Gemini, you're going to have the cerebral part of your emotions actually hit down here, and you're not going to know what to do with it. But the Judgment card is going to tell you, like, you have to allow yourself to speak to yourself through it. I think that's the most important thing. Speak to yourself through it. That's what's going to be making a real difference for you, Gemini, when it comes to the solar eclipse. Learn how to speak to yourself in a different light. I think that'll definitely help out. So we have Cancers. Let's go. So the sign for Cancers, we have the Knight of Cups. Literally your card, pretty much. But the Knight of Cups, this is going to show. Every time I think of the Knight of Cups, I think of somebody young, like 18 to 21, college time, trying to shoot their shot at their like college crush or something, and they being like, hey, back in my hometown, we do this, right? Something stupid like that, right? But the idea of the Knight of Cups for you, Cancer, is that your role right now isn't to be in charge. I think your role right now isn't even to nurture other people. Your role right now is to kind of approach life like this eligible bachelor or this eligible bachelorette or this eligible... You get what I'm trying to get at. Regardless, the idea of everyone kind of being in this, or this Cancer energy being in this ability to romanticize life. And I think the romanticization, anyway, the romanticization of the things around you are actually going to be pushing you forward way more. And I think the solar eclipse, because it's happening as well in a water sign, there is a lot of different intuitions, but I think it's more like Cancer, you're gonna know what part of life you're paranoid about and what part of life you're actually just like, oh no, they're doing this not right. And you're only gonna figure out that by tapping into that Knight of Cups energy and kind of like shooting your shot at the things around, hearing from different people, like what did they mean? What are they saying over there? That's definitely going to be making a difference for you. So, getting over into Leo. Anyway, regardless, right? We have the Princess of Cups. Word. So, the Princess of Cups, similarly to the Knight of Cups, but the Princess of Cups is a bit more reserved, right? The reservation isn't because they're not like as confident or anything like that. And the Princess of Cups is just like they're waiting and they're willing to have people come to them. So where the Knight of Cups and Cancer is like, hey, shoot your shot at things, go for this thing. The Princess of Cups is like, oh, I want that. It'll come to me. And everyone's like, what do you mean it's going to come to you? And it's like, well, I'm holding emotional space for it. It's going to come for me. And everyone's like, I, Leo, whatever. And Leo's like, okay. And then the person they want comes to them. The thing that they want comes to them almost instantaneously. And they're like, have a great day, everyone. And you're like, whoa. This is the type of energy that's coming through with the solar eclipse, is that it's like, Leo, you don't have to exert your force to get what you want. You don't have to exert and be like, I'm the most passionate person in the room. You don't have to do, you don't have to do that. It's just gonna be like, oh, yeah, I want that thing. Oh, word, they like me? Cool. And that's it. So keep it simple, Leo. It's all gonna be good. I just, I'm gonna break that down for you. Let's get into a Virgo. So for Virgo, what we got for you? Let's peep. Virgo, we have the Five of Cups. We have the Sad Boy card. We have Batman, played by Robert Pattinson card. We have the card. And with this card, right, Virgo, you perfectionist. We love you for it. If you try to do everything all at once, you will get nothing. Nothing. Not even those two cups. Not even those two cups. Virgo, during this solar eclipse, you need to back off of yourself. Because I think the stress that you're going to be feeling, because it's in Scorpio, mind you, Virgo and Scorpio's glyph is like away from being the same. Sidebar, I will get into that in a different discussion. Regardless, basically when it comes to this Five of Cups is trying to show you where it's like, let go of what you don't need. And you know what you don't need. And that's the most annoying part, is that you're like, I know I don't need this, but I just like, no, just let it go. Let it go. Because if you can't let it go, you won't have anything afterward. And the solar eclipse wants you to leave with something to show for, but the things that just want you to let go, you just need to let go. It could be a person. It could be a job. It could be like a place you go hang out. Just let it go. For real. So when it comes to Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, happy Libra season to the Libras of Lachette. What we got? We have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant, right? Libra, you know something or some things better than anyone else would know them. The humility that Libra is forced to have to be beautiful and graceful makes them completely miss out on themselves, because they attribute everything they learned to the source they learned it from. And they're like, hey, I know I am a master numerologist, but I would have never been a master numerologist if I didn't read these books on numerology. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Like, yeah, like you're supposed to learn from these things and then make something happen. But Libra will just be like, oh, wow. If they were so smart when they taught me everything I know, but I just don't know anything. And it's like, huh? So the Hierophant is literally trying to force you. The solar eclipse. All the time with Libra, you like to pretend to play dumb. You like to be like, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. You're going to be in real positions where it's like, no, you gotta know your shit and own it and own it and own it and own it. And if you don't own it, it's not going to be a fun time. You got to own it. It's in your second house too, if I'm not mistaken. So you got to own it. Because if you don't own the things that you know, you're not going to acquire the wealth that you're aiming for. If you don't claim the things that you like actually have that, you're not going to get to the specific areas that you want to aim for, because you're not owning it yourself. Why would the universe be like, hey, here you go, if you're not like, yeah, I can do it? You're like, oh, someone else wrote this once, they could do it. Oh, they're an old person and they can't move. No, I think they can do it. They're smarter. Like, no, none of that. No more. Anyway, let's get to Scorpio, right? Scorpio, happy solar eclipse in your sign. I hope it brings the best luck to you. No doubt, yo. Much love. Appreciate y'all still being here, by the way. We out here, you know. Anyway, Scorpio, what we got? We got the Eight of Cups. This is wish fulfillment, right? The bottom of the deck, we got the King of Swords. Wish fulfillment. Scorpio, I think you're in a position to whole as Phoenix yourself and just like out the cocoon of like your own. Scorpio, you about to level up. You about to level up because that wish thing is going to be coming true. It's not going to look like the way you want it to, though. That's one thing for sure. This is like you being like, oh man, I need a relationship. And this is like the universe giving you a platonic best ass friend, right? But you're like, oh, I can't live without this person now. And it's like, well, this the idea of it. So for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, it's like the things and the people that are coming in, the wish fulfillment that you have, it's not going to look the way you want it to, but it's going to be exactly what you're yearning for. I got cut off in between, so it's cute that we just keep pausing. It gives me a second to breathe, though, so I ain't really worried about it. Regardless, Scorpio, let's do one more because it's in your sign, the World card. Or as DL from JoJo's, for any of my nerds out there, the World card. All right, cool. So basically, sorry if that hurt anyone's ears, but the World, right? The World is essentially trying to show you that you like the new world. Nah, I'm not even going to explain this again because I talked about it earlier. The new world that's literally forming against that is being brought to us by Scorpios. By Scorpios, Sun, Moon, and Risings. If you know a Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, listen to what they say in the next 2 weeks. That doesn't mean they give good advice. Just listen to what they say, though. I'm playing. Much love to my Scorpios. I can talk at y'all sometimes. Regardless, let's get to the next one. We're going into Sagittarius. Let's get it. So for Sagittarius, what we got? We have the Ten of Cups. I'm sorry, I'm clearly I'm sad. But we have the Ten of Cups. This is a celebration. This is like, so much hardship, so much emotional turmoil, so much pain. Oh wait, here's some payoff. Here's a little bit of alleviation to your bad day. It's like, wow, thanks. Didn't know this was possible, right? But the idea of this Ten of Cups is trying to make you more aware that there's abundance around you. And I don't think it's going to fully come through until Sagittarius season, where it solidifies when Jupiter goes direct into Pisces. But it is going to take a second. But I think it's going to be a beautiful time of tapping into that emotional fulfillment energy for Sagittarius. So that's good. That's dope. Bet. Let's get on over to Capricorn. So Capricorn, we have the Tower Cap. I'm sorry, bro. Or man, I'm sorry. We have the Tower card for Capricorn. On the bright side, though, we have the Ace of Wands on the bottom. So Capricorn, I'm gonna put it to you like this, right? This is like you being like, hey, I've spent the last 5 years of my life dedicating myself to be a Pokemon master. And then every cap's like, hey. It's like, all right, you dedicated all that time being a Pokemon master. And as soon as you're ready to be like, okay, here we go, everyone's like, Pokemon ain't it no more, bro. We all picked up our Yu-Gi-Oh cards, whatever else. And this is you being like, man, all these years working at what I worked at, you picking up that Yu-Gi-Oh deck and you just beating everybody. Just ASAP, just obliterating them. Exodia shit. Just do. And the reason why I'm explaining it like that is because it's like, although you might have put all your skill points or your energy into one thing, it has literally already transferred into the next thing that's popping up. So when you're like, oh no, this, it's not working out, so everything's going bad. It's like all those transferable skills are still going to be active. So that's the beautiful part about it. So you're still going to be in good shape. Aquarius, let's see what we got for you. We have the Two of Tennis Balls. So when you have the Two of Tennis Balls or Pentacles, basically the idea of the Two. I was gonna say I hate this card and it paused me for a second. So I hate this card. It annoys. There's something about it that annoys me. I don't like hate it, but it's just like, okay, you're juggling your options. What you gonna do? What you gonna do now? So imagine you're like, hey, I wanna answer. You're like pulling yourself a card real quick, and you're like, yeah, you know, it's just whatever you want to do, man. It's whatever you want to do. But at the same time, I think Aquarius, you felt only restriction for the last 5-6 months because of Saturn being retrograde. And I think this is your first time because it's a day after it goes direct. It's going to be your first time to be like, wait, I can I can weigh out my options. I can do other things. Oh man, I don't know what I'm doing, man. I think that's going to be like something that's pretty important when it comes to the overall energy that you're trying to be like pushing forward. So definitely something to look out for the Aquarians. Now let's get on over to Pisces. And for our Pisces, what we got? Pisces, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So, Pisces, I think it's kind of time to slow your roll. Pisces, you're magical. Y'all live on a different timeline than most people exist. You're able to just kind of be like, doop, pop into like weird things. You're able to like, you have way too much talent and be way too quiet about it. And I don't feel like exposing you at all till your season. But that's a different point. What I will say though, is that when it comes to the Knight of Pentacles, is that it's like, it's time for you to like, obviously you're able to finesse so much. You're able to just pull things out your ass, right? But the Knight of Pentacles is being like, okay, lean a little bit into that opposition of Virgo. Lean a little bit into that like, hey, here's something to show for, right? Because it's one thing to be like, I'm a songwriter, magician, fire-breathing dragon that on Fairy Lane, and then there's another thing where you're like, here's my license that says I live on Fairy Lane as a dragon and I do all this, like, you know what I'm saying? Have something to show for. If you're like, oh, I'm a songwriter, have 10 songs done. So when someone plays you and they're like, oh, you're a songwriter, or what do you write? And you're like, I've been working on stuff. I'm just really nervous, and I don't think people might like it, so I've been keeping. No. Just have something to show for. That's the most important thing for the solar eclipse for Pisces. Just have something to show for, right? But yeah, if you have something to show for, it's also going to accelerate you like dumb fast. Neptune's still in Pisces. You still got the juice for that, so don't even worry about that. Don't even trip. But yeah. So basically, this has been a live stream, an impromptu Instagram live. Size and Capricorn. Just an Instagram live on here. Thank you all for staying through the whole time. Did not expect any of that. So much love for y'all for pulling through. I really do want to build more community. I want to know what y'all need. I want to know what the astrology community is missing. I feel like because things have gotten so short form, there's certain questions and things that like people have that just don't get talked about because everyone's like, I want to make a TikTok about Taurus today, and they do, and it's like, on one end I completely get it, and I will probably have to do so because we're playing an algorithm game. We're playing an algorithm. It's not necessarily even for the people. It's in the algorithm. It's how do we do that? How do we reach more people to really have them experience more of like what's going on the spiritual end? What can we do to get more people to come through on the metaphysical end, on the real spiritual tip, right? But it's one of those scenarios where things are going to basically be as they are. And I think the solar eclipse in Scorpio is showing that things are as they are. And as much as we can complicate them, they're as on the surface as they are underneath. And as this eclipse happens, the underneath is going to be coming out to the forefront. So what do you want to show for when that's time? And what do you stand for when that's time as well? That's up for you to decide, and that choice is yours. But until next time, y'all, I'm going to be ending off this live stream. Much love as always. Please be sure to hit the link in my description for all of my services that I'm doing right now. All on sale, only for the next 3 weeks, max. Might be shorter than that. We'll see. But I do want to be able to like give y'all that stuff and everything else along the lines of that. So much love. I am tired. I'm finna take me a nap. And until next time, y'all have a great one. Peace.